Yeah, they thought that you was a shy girl until I made you my girl. Girl, you pushed me like a big boy till I cuffed you like you did something. You ain't gotta wait for it. You ain't gotta wait for me to give you my love. You ain't gotta wait for it. Things are getting sticky, girl, I think that I'm stuck. I'll admit I'm wrong, but I know that you gon' come for me.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we are starting off with the 4-part series, Back to Basics. If you enjoyed part 2 of this series, then you are going to love part 3. So if you want to see what we are going to be talking about in part 3 of this video, then just keep on watching the video, obviously. We're going to move on to the face. So welcome back to the series. We are on part 3 of the series. We are going to move on to the face. So let's get started. So for the face, I like to go in with 3 different primers. The first primer I like to go in with is the Scandinavia Primer Spray. You can't get this priming spray at Ulta, but you can definitely get it on their website. They always have deals going on. I got this in a bundle set, so I got the makeup primer spray. This is the oil-free one, I believe. It came with a setting spray and a primer spray, but they come in big bottles, but they sent me 2 free small mini samples, so I just kind of refill as I go. I love this primer because it adheres to my skin very nicely, but if I start to like get a little hot or start to sweat, it allows my makeup to adapt to the temperature of my skin. So the moisturizer that I'm using is the Embryolisse moisturizer. This just acts as a moisturizer so our skin is not begging for moisture throughout the day. When you don't put on a moisturizer, your skin begs for moisture, and that's why it starts to produce those oils. So the way to prevent that is putting on a moisturizer. So don't think that your skin is super oily. Like you're gonna make your skin super oily when you put on a moisturizer, because you don't. And the thing that I like about this moisturizer is that it has silicone in it, so it leaves the skin tacky for our makeup to adhere. So the last primer that I like to go in with is the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. This just helps as a shield so that the makeup has something to stick to, but it won't break us out. If you don't prime, I recommend that you do, because like I said, priming the eyes and the skin will make your makeup last all day. So before I put on my foundation, I do like to color correct, but I'm not going to color correct with an orange shade. I'm actually going to color correct with a concealer shade that has a little bit of orange tint in it. This is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick, and this is in the shade Cocoa. And as you can see, it has like some orange in it. I just like to go in with a warm, you can go with a warm foundation or a warm concealer. Just make sure it's warm, especially for people with darker skin tones that have discoloration, because this will cancel that out. And I just like to put this around my mouth so it gives it one tone. Exactly how we put the concealer on our lids, it gave it a one-tone base. So to buff that out, I'm going to take my Sigma Flat Kabuki brush. This is the F80 brush. And we're just going to pat this out. Don't forget, I do have a discount code with Sigma. Just use code Beat.By.Burst 10 at checkout and you can save some dollars on your purchase. I absolutely love this brush because, as you can see, it blends the foundation out so seamlessly. And it looks like it's like my perfect match for foundation. So now I'm going to go in with my regular foundation shade. This is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. This is a matte foundation. If you have oily skin, this foundation is perfect for you. If you have dry skin, please stay away from this foundation because it is what it says. Can't stop, won't stop. And it's matte. If you do have dry skin, I would recommend a more dewy, hydrating foundation so that your skin is not dry, because remember we are going to pack on the powders so that we can set our face in place. So how I like to apply my foundation is I like to put it on the back of my hand just like my concealer, and I'm just taking this foundation brush and just painting the foundation on my face. And then I'm going to take my Sigma brush and just buff this out. I'm still going in with patting motions. Just like if I were to use a beauty sponge, you can definitely go in with a beauty sponge. I just prefer to go in with this brush because this is just what I prefer to use. But if you don't have this brush, feel free to go in with your beauty sponge and use the same technique that I'm doing, applying the foundation first with a foundation brush or your fingers. Do not just pump it straight onto the brush because you waste product like that, because it seeps into the brush or the sponge. We're going to move on to highlighting and contouring. So to highlight, I like to go in with a shade, kind of one shade lighter than my skin tone for concealer. And I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in Suede. And I like to do this because then I'm going to go in with a lighter concealer, and this just gives a nice gradient, making it super bright in the inner corner but keeping it my natural shade towards the outer part. We're going to do one single line down the bridge of the nose. I can never get this super straight. And then on the forehead. For the next concealer I'm going to go in with is the LA Girl Pro Concealer in Fawn. And I'm keeping this right in this inner corner to give us a little bit of brightness. For this step, I am going to use a sponge to blend out my highlight. There are different sponges that you can use. This sponge is by Eco Tools. I just recently started using this and I love it to death. But my holy grail is the Real Technique Beauty Sponge. These are both can be found at Ulta. I like to go in with a damp beauty sponge because it gives me a more flawless application and it takes away excess makeup that I don't need on the face. So definitely go get these sponges if you do not have them. They are very essential in your makeup kit. But we are just going to blend this out. And I am doing patting motions. This is the good thing about going in with a concealer shade that is only one shade lighter, is that you don't have such a stark white mouth area. And as you can see, we look super blended. No harsh lines. Nobody's gonna clock you, girl, okay? So for contour, I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in Espresso. And we're just going to start drawing little dots around the forehead, and we're going to do this in sections. So the brush that I am using, this does not have a name, but honestly, all you really need is a fluffy, slanted brush to blend out your contour. Don't go in with a foundation brush or your concealer brush. You need something that's fluffy and has loose bristles, because we really want this to be airbrushed, and I'm going to show you why. Because you see already with me just going in with these circular motions, I'm getting a very airbrush finish, and we haven't really done anything yet. You can also go in with your sponge. I just been liking to use a brush recently, because as you can see, you see the gradient from like light to dark. If you don't like to cream contour, you can definitely just go in with your regular face powder. But I'm going to do both just to show you guys the different techniques. And basically where I put the contour is where the hollow of my cheek is. So when I sucked in, that's where you should put your contour. Make sure you do your circular motions. Never swipe. If you want that airbrush finish, never swipe. And whatever excess that you have on the brush, use for under the chin. How I like to do this under the chin is I literally make an L shape. So I'm just going to take a flat brush and just picking up some of the product because we want our nose contour to be snatched. Now how I'm doing this is I want to place the contour on top of the nose, not on the side. If you do it on the side, it's going to make your nose look super wide, and that's what you don't want. And I'm bringing this out into the eyebrow, and I'm bringing it under the nose. And now you know why I put some of the concealer right here, so it makes it look one tone, so it makes my nose look extra skinny. And if you feel like you lost some of that highlight, we're just gonna go back in with our concealer, and we're going to recreate that line. So to set the face, I'm going in with 2 powders. The Laura Mercier translucent powder in medium deep, and this is the B.O.M.B powder in Topaz. But you do not have to go in with 2 powders. Maybelline has a good setting powder as well. So this is the Maybelline powder, the Fit Me powder. You can find this at Ulta. This was actually $7.99. I'm in the shade medium deep, number 30. This gives me a nice like yellowy highlight. Let me show you what it looks like. It has color, so it definitely has pigment. So find your shade and figure out which one works best for you. I wouldn't set my entire face with this because it's so light. I would only set my under eyes. So I really have not been in the baking mood. Just for under my eyes, this technique is great for people who have super dry skin. I just like to take my e.l.f. blush brush and just pat powder on so that it just sets it nicely in place. If you have super oily skin, you can definitely use this technique, or you can bake. I just haven't been in the baking mood. It just depends like on what I want to do. Don't forget to set the size of your nose because we did put concealer there. So now I'm going to take my beauty sponge and I'm going to bake under the eyes. Just a little bit. Make sure you are bringing this color, bringing this powder down on the side of your nose. So to powder contour, I like to take just a regular foundation powder. Any powder will work, an eyeshadow powder will work. Just make sure it's darker than your skin tone and it looks good as a contour powder. Brush that I like to use is a slanted blush brush. The bristles are super loose because we want that airbrush finish. So any angled brush that's super fluffy that you have will work great for contouring and your blush. We're going to use that same brush to contour our nose. So I'm going to tap into that contour shade and I'm going to start under the brow. You're going to do the same thing as you did with the cream contour, working the product on top of the nose. So you see that line that we have going on? And this just gives you a more blended and buffed out contour for the nose. So snatched. Okay. Is that it? So if you enjoyed part 3 of this series, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. If you are new to my channel, join the B.O.M Squad. We are the realest squad on the internet. Also leave a comment in the comment box below if you're excited to see part 4 of this series. I'm telling y'all, we are just getting good, okay? Part 4 is going to be the end of the series, but it's going to be the best part of the series, because I'm pretty sure you can already guess what we're going to do. So if you want to see part 4 of this series, please stay tuned. But I look forward to seeing y'all in my next tutorial. Bye guys.